Good evening. I'd like to call the Board of Education meeting for November 20th, 2025 to order. Please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can you please call the roll?
Dana Berthold.
Here.
Catherine Johnson.
Here.
Joseph Kostick. Richard Lassine.
Present.
Caitlin Olenek. Deidre Stokes. Aaron Janik.
Here. All right, we have public comment. We have 3 individuals signed up. The first one is Jim, is it Arvia?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jim Arvia. I've been in the district over 30 years. Still live in the district. 2 kids graduated, fortunate enough to go all 4 years through Lincoln Way North. I've spoken before the board before. I have been advised that we can't talk anything specific about negotiations, so I've been randomly or rapidly scratching out as much stuff as I can. I'll be sensitive to that. I apologize if I cross the line somewhere. Let me know. I'll speak in generalities and nothing in specifics, and I hope the board finds that acceptable. So I wanted to talk tonight to the board, but to the community at large. I know some people will look at this online tomorrow or when the video is up there, and they can look at the board minutes. And so I'm speaking to them as well. And I'm representing all of the support staff, bus drivers, maintenance staff, custodians, security, paraprofessionals, cafeteria staff, media center, library assistant staff. We've all been working without a contract. I think that's common knowledge since the beginning of the school year, and negotiations have been going on since February. But maybe the public isn't aware of that. We would hope that they would investigate and see what's actually happening. But I'd also like to think I'm speaking on behalf of the students, right? They're the reason we're all here, and they're the ones that if we don't get some of these things resolved can be most negatively impacted by not having things in place as they should be. And as the support staff for our schools, we're the first faces they see in the morning and the last ones they see at the end of the day. So our work is essential to the school day running smoothly and safely. I have to skip the next 4 paragraphs, I apologize. Okay, so I will end with, remember, without bus drivers, our kids can't get to school. Without custodians, our schools won't be clean. Without maintenance workers, our schools might not function properly. Without food services, our kids don't eat. Without parapros, who will be there to attend our kids with special needs? We just want to make sure that we get a fair contract so we can serve the students and they get all the attention and things that they need from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Michaeline Lazarsko. Hope I didn't mispronounce that too poorly.
Hello. Again, I didn't know we weren't allowed to speak today, and we were supposed to keep things simple. So, again, if I cross the line, just raise your hand, slap me, something. My name is Michaeline Lazarski. I've previously worked at a university office, a warehouse, a factory. After that, I was blessed with the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom for 13 years. I did volunteer work with the local food pantry preschools and did the room mom thing with District 122 during those years. I also worked in childcare for 5 years. Now I am one of your bus drivers. Here is my view. Back in 2016, I interviewed with both District 843 and 210. The pay was very similar back then, but the guaranteed hours were different. 843 offered 4, while 210 offered 5. I chose to drive for 210 due to the larger number of guaranteed hours and because it reduced the need for my childcare. During my interview with 210, I was also reassured that anything over the 5 hours would be paid. What I wasn't told was that I would be paid at a lower rate. I learned this my first week of driving as a substitute, yet I struggled with understanding what to write on my time card and where to write it. One person would say something akin to, yes, that goes on this line, and you are paid this amount. Another would yell, you don't get paid for that. With this confusion, I had to argue for my paycheck numerous times. Then back in 2019-20, I heard rumors of a group of drivers wanting us to become part of the support staff's union. They did have enough votes for us to join that union. However, we came in after that contract was ratified. I think we were just happy to have the support of the union and the higher raises we were given. I simply thought it was great to have something in writing to support me during my next earnings argument. Once we had joined, I still heard many complaining that we were not being paid enough and were not competitive with other companies' districts in any manner. The responses were, "You can't expect 210 to make that big of a jump in our pay so quickly. We will negotiate things again with the next contract. All things will be discussed for changes again." With the successor contract in '22, we again accepted a non-competitive pay rate and kept that drop in pay after the 5 hours. I think we accepted this partially because we were afraid to vote it down. Comments were made, "Something is keeping you here. If you are that unhappy, go find another job." And "Do you really want to lose the gains we have made to go back to the table and start over?" Again, it was repeated. "You can't expect 210 to hike up the pay that much. Look how far we have come." Many of these I repeated to others. It was the bus driver's first time fully participating in ratifying a contract with the district. Obviously, it was better than what we had, right? Something has changed over these past 3 years. I cannot speak for all the union members and those riding their shirt tails that benefit from the work the union leaders have done. Again, I can only speak from my perspective. I have witnessed firsthand what the union leaders have done over the years. They are out there working with, listening to, and in some cases, socializing outside of the work hours with the union membership. This year, they included a survey and improved communications. With these and more, I believe they have a pretty good grasp on what the union members really want. I don't hear the fear anymore from my coworkers. I believe with the tentative contract vote of no, many agree that it is time to make our positions competitive, appealing, and worth holding on to. The union membership seems to believe that they have waited too long. It is now time to do this. All of this in hopes of making it easier to retain good employees and attract more. Without this, there really cannot be a reasonable expectation for those we serve to have a high level of satisfaction. As stated above, I chose to drive for 210 because of the 5th hour of guaranteed pay and a reduction of my need for childcare. Since 2016, I have remained here because my heart is involved. I love my routes, I love my kids and my parents. I feel truly blessed in that regard. I would think you, the school board, would strive for this with all of your support staff employees rather than taking advantage of their love for this community. Our positions need to be financially competitive. Our benefits need to be competitive. Your employees need to feel the grass isn't greener somewhere else. Employees who will
Michaeline, that's
then-
5 minutes. If you can go ahead and finish up, please. Thank you.
Yep,
Go ahead.
employees who will then be here long enough for their hearts to connect and in turn shed a brighter light for the entire district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Tall Chet.
Good evening. Good to see all of you here. We're very lucky. This is a beautiful district. This is a beautiful district. We've got great schools, we've got great teachers, we've got great sport teams. Everything's great, all right? Bus drivers, I think we're being forgotten. I make 22 and a quarter an hour for my first 5 hours. If they say, "Chet, we got some extra work here, we need you to work," at 6 hours now, I'm bumped down to $9 an hour. After I do my extra work, the same day, they'll say, "Hey, Chet, we got a trip here, we'd like you to do the trip for us." Okay, I'll do the trip. Now I'm bumped down to $17 an hour. We start work before you guys all go to work. And we finish our work. We're still working while you're going home. So it's a part-time job, but we're working full-time hours. It's a part-time job, we're getting part-time pay, we're getting part-time benefits, but we're putting in more than 40 hours a week, some of these drivers. I talked to one driver, they worked 60 hours in 1 week. And I just want you to know that. And let me check my notes right here. And I just want to bring the bus job up to the high standard that the rest of the district is, with the sports teams, with the teachers and the staff and all that. Are we getting thank you cards from other villages, other districts? Because we're training these drivers, we're investing in these drivers, we train them, and they work for us. They work for a couple days, they work for a week, maybe they work for a couple years, and then they see something's a lot nicer over here, over there. And it's a shame because we invested time and money in these drivers, and most of the time these drivers that we're losing are super drivers. You know, they know all the routes, they're real friendly, they're motivated. And I just want to say, I hope that we come, that understand that, we're working before you start to work, and we go home, and you're already home already. We're still on the street. And I just hope that the district recognizes that and help, give us a fair day pay for fair day work. We're doing a fair day work. We just want a fair day pay for that. Thank you very much for letting me have an opportunity to talk.
Thank you. All right, next up, we'll hear from student council presidents. How about we hear from Wes first?
Good evening. I hope everyone has been having a great school year so far. I am here representing Lincoln Way West and to share the positive happenings happening at our school. Athletically, it has been an exciting fall with our sports teams in full swing. Our varsity football team advanced to the quarterfinals, battling against Downers Grove North. The student sections showed up with immense enthusiasm and support. The leaders of our student section, the West Side, got countless involved by making our themes weekly and providing props for the game. Earlier this fall, we even won National Football Student Section of the Week. Our soccer team went to the sectional finals, and the volleyball team made it to regional finals. With fall sports ending, many of our winter sports have kicked off their season in the past weeks. We are looking forward to seeing how their seasons go, having no doubt the enthusiasm for the winter seasons will be the same. As Student Council President, I'm thrilled to mention that the Student Council Executive Board attended the Student Council Convention hosted by Sandberg earlier this week. With incredible motivational speakers and breakout activities, we were able to learn new ways to lead and impact our school. Throughout November, we have been highlighting a month of kindness. Many of our clubs and activities participated in a variety of initiatives, and all students were reminded of the importance of showing kindness to others and to ourselves. We also encourage all warriors to take time to slow down, reflect, emphasizing the importance of practicing gratitude. Our focus on kindness has shaped November to be a month of commitment to leading with positivity, care, and connection. As we enter the season of giving, our school community has shown incredible generosity. Be the Change Club partnered with Case Creek Animal Shelter and donated over 162 handmade dog toys. Student Council has completed yet another successful Thanksgiving food drive, along with our athletic department conducting their first ever food drive, Athletic Trainers Against Hunger. Lincoln Way West is proud to sponsor numerous families in this year's holiday sharing program sponsored by the PPS department. We are also preparing for our favorite annual Polar Express holiday event, bringing our community together with fun, festive activities. Overall, it is clear that West continues to strive in leadership, service, and unity. Our student body truly embraces the meaning of being a warrior, and it is an honor to represent our school and share to you the remarkable things we do at Lincoln Way West. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we'll hear from Central next.
Hello, my name is Aiden Stockram, and I'm a senior at Lincoln Way Central. This fall has been an outstanding season for our school, filled with accomplishment, community involvement, and an incredible amount of night pride. Our clubs and activities have been busy creating opportunities for students to connect, serve, and lead. One of the highlights of the semester was our Halloween night celebration, where families from across the district came to trick or treat through our halls and enjoy a fun fair organized by our student council. The event was not only a chance for younger students to experience Central, but it also served as a community food drive, allowing us to collect donations for local families heading into the holiday season. Beyond community service, we also focused on leadership development this fall by attending the SWSC Student Council Leadership Conference, where our student council collaborated with other schools and brought back new ideas to support our students. We also recently held our National Honor Society induction ceremony, where we welcomed this year's new members and honored Dr. McNamara as a Faculty Member of the Year. Meanwhile, several of our student organizations have continued the momentum with additional fall food drives and outreach efforts. Academic teams like Scholastic Bowl and Mathletes have opened their season strong, and auditions for our winter play are underway as our theater department prepares for another exciting production. And each Friday, Central Perk continues to bring students and staff together with coffee, conversation, and community to start the day on a positive note. In addition to our busy season in athletics, or in activities, our athletics programs have had a standout fall as well. Our boys cross-country team earned the highest state finals finish in school history, coming in 11th after winning the IHSA regional title. Girls cross-country dominated their season as conference, regional, and sectional champions before placing 12th at state. Boys soccer made an impressive postseason run, winning both the regional and sectional championships. Football earned the Southwest Valley Red Conference title and secured a spot in the 7A state playoffs, while boys golf advanced to the state finals with a 10th place finish after winning sectionals, and girls golf was represented at state by junior Taylor Bush, who qualified for the third year in a row. Girls swim and dive captured both the conference and sectional championships, advancing multiple athletes to the state meet. And finally, girls tennis sent freshman Sophie Rodil to state finals, and girls volleyball wrapped up a strong season with a 23-10 record. Across all of these accomplishments, whether in service, academics, the arts, or athletics, our students continue to lead with dedication, enthusiasm, and the values that define what it means to be a Knight. Their commitment to each other and to our community is what makes Lincoln Way Central such a special place. Thank you for your time and for your continued support of our students. We look forward to a great winter season and all that lies ahead.
Thank you. And last but not least, we'll hear from East. I did that on purpose.
Good evening. My name is Prachi Panchal, and I'm honored to be here on behalf of Lincoln Way East. The Lincoln Way East Student Council Executive Board attended the SWSC conference this Tuesday. Throughout the conference, we discussed many ways to improve our leadership skills whilst talking to other SWSC schools on how their student council helps promote school spirit and involvement. It was an enlightening day for all of us, bringing new ideas and concepts to the school year. Right now, Lincoln Way East is finding ways to support student growth and give back to the community. The Pause for Cause Club is collecting donations for local shelters. The Femme Power Club is also collecting food and clothing for those in need. We are currently running our Pennies for Patient drive to raise money and awareness for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. In addition, many clubs have planned upcoming holiday drives, including Miss Vandenberg's Adopt a Family. During these couple last months, East students have been hard at work showcasing their athletic, academic, and creative talents. Athletically, our Griffin athletes capped off a very successful fall sports season. Our boys' golf team, as well as our girls' golf team, made it to state this year, with the girls placing 4th overall. Similarly, our boys' cross-country and girls' cross-country team made it to state as well. This fall, we had 16 senior athletes participate in the Class of 2026 College Signing Ceremony. We are so excited to embark with them on their next chapter. Now we are enthusiastic to support our winter athletes as they compete for their winter season these next few months. Academically, East is proud to honor 2 Griffins, Jackson Poots and Matthew Jensen, for receiving a perfect 36 on the fall ACT test. It is an amazing accomplishment. Creatively, our Griffins have been demonstrating their talents throughout the semester with productions like our district musical, Guys and Dolls, and the Lincoln Way East fall play, Runaways. Also, the Lincoln Way East Marching Band placed 14th out of the 93 bands competing at the Bands of America Super Regional Competition in Indianapolis last month. In addition, December will feature a winter concert and numerous madrigal performances that showcase the many talented musicians and singers throughout Lincoln Way East. It is always wonderful to see our students' artistic side shine. All in all, it's been a wonderful first semester, and we look forward to what second semester will bring. We hope to continue and honor our 25th year legacy as we continue to shine bright academically, athletically, and creatively. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have the fiscal year 2025 audit report presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Time for everyone's most favorite agenda item of the year. I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, excuse me, the audit's a lot of hard work, both by our staff and Katie Napier, who we have here tonight, who's our partner from Wermer Rogers, and her staff to get this all completed efficiently, usually during one of the busiest times of the year at the beginning of the school year. So just want to thank her and her staff and my staff for all their hard work with getting all the support that's needed in order to complete the audit. Katie's going to go into it in a little bit more detail, but I just wanted to highlight a few things before she gets started. Audit went well again this year. We had a clean, unmodified opinion. That's the best type of audit opinion that you can get. That's the kind that you want to have. And that's what we've had every year. So that's good news on that front. But I would like to go into a little bit more detail about our management comment letter and then our financial profile score on our AFR. First, with the management comment letter. Management comment letter is a very normal part of the audit process. Back in the day when that was my career, I didn't have a client where I didn't have a management comment letter for them. It's a way for auditors to provide qualitative feedback to their clients on how they might see ways to improve or things like that. And I think Katie also mentioned that she doesn't have a client that doesn't get a management comment letter. So with that said, we have 3 comments this year. One is a repeat from previous fiscal years. It's related to our financial capital assets and doing a physical inventory of those, which I hope at some point in the future we can do, maybe after we do all the life safety improvements. It might be a good time to kind of evaluate having that done. Our second comment was expenditures in excess of budget. We were actually over budget in our life safety fund and in our debt service fund. And without going into a ton of technical accounting, it basically was because of the way things need to be recorded for accounting purposes on the AFR. Nothing with our fund balances changed, nothing with that changed. That was the only reason why we were over budget. One of them is the leases that we have. We had new copier leases this year and the driver's ed leases. There's a certain way that we need to account for those. And so Wermer Rogers helped us with correcting that, but as we corrected that, it caused us to go over budget in our debt service fund. So we'll get that corrected going forward. It's a one-time thing, not a big deal. The third comment is related to the collateralization of our deposits. we had a large amount of expenditures that we needed to pay in July, and therefore all of our property tax money comes into our PMA account, and then we transfer that to Old Second in order to pay our operating expenses. So we made that transfer, and unfortunately, it hit the bank, a pretty large transfer, and it hit our bank on June 30th, so the last day of our fiscal year. And what ended up happening is that the bank just didn't have enough time to collateralize that large transfer that came in from PMA. So for about a day, we were under collateralized. Again, expect this to totally, be a one-time only thing. I think is a lesson learned that, we just need to be watching that. And if we're going to be having really large transfers, that we should just be giving Old Second maybe a little bit more of a heads up of that's coming in so that they can make sure that they can secure the proper collateralization. But at the end of the day, just a comment for improvement, not anything that was considered a significant deficiency or material weakness, and those are the things that we really have to worry about. And I'm proud to say we have not had any of those since 2016. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, I'm sorry, Katie, I'm probably doing your entire presentation right now, but I figure you might as well hear from me and her, so then you're getting double the fun. You're going to notice in the AFR, we have an estimated financial profile score. It's on page 4. It's that large stapled document in front of you if you want to look at it. Katie will also have it up as a slide. She's going to it right now. For the past 2 years, I believe, we have had an estimated financial profile score of recognition, and that's the highest score you can get. Unfortunately, this year, we moved down to review. That's just one step lower. That is not any indication whatsoever that Lincoln Way is headed in the wrong direction financially. It unfortunately is just we're kind of victims of the way that ISB has chosen to calculate some of these scores. So specifically in our case this year, the expenditures to revenue ratio, which is that second one on the slide, had been a 4. And this year it moved down to a 3. And the main reason it moved down to a 3 this year is because we made a really good financial decision to buy buses rather than lease them, because you may recall that leasing was going to be significantly more expensive than if we bought the buses through debt, taking out the debt certificates and then paying for them. But unfortunately, the way that, without going into the detail of the calculation, unfortunately, the way that ISB looks at that is that they look at the expenditure part of it, the buying of the buses, as being a direct cost. But then the bond proceeds, they don't consider that as direct revenue. So it's kind of below the line. So it makes it look like we didn't have the revenue to support the purchase of the buses, if that makes sense. And even with that, we are only slightly over 1. I believe if you're under 1, you get a 4 in recognition. So that's what happened this year, and that's why we went down to review. But like I said, it's not an indication of the district heading in the wrong direction. In fact, I think, it is what it is. We made the right financial decision with buying the buses and saving taxpayers money in leasing costs. So those were the 2 big things I wanted to highlight. So I'll let Katie take over from there. Thank you. Sorry, I knew I'd forget something.
Yeah, Student Council President, you don't have to stay for the audit, unless you want to. I mean, you guys can excuse yourself. Unless you want to be an auditor and you can really sit and watch with us. Yeah, and they're out. Thank you,
They're
Student
going to
Council
be
Presidents.
missing out. This is going to be pretty exciting,
Yeah.
so.
It's a great career.
Again, my name is Katie Napier. I'm the partner in charge of the district's audit. Thank you for having me tonight. I typically have my colleague with me, Sarah, a manager. She has come with me the past few years, but unfortunately, Sarah resigned from our firm at the end of October. So we are sad to see her go, but looking forward to the future, I am excited. I have a few managers in mind to assign to the district's audit. So 2026, there'll be a fresh set of eyes, which I think is going to be a great thing for the district next year. So something to look forward to next year. I am just going to give a very quick overview. Kelly did a great job of some of the main points. So I'll just add a couple. And if there's any questions on anything, I think we'll have a few minutes at the end. If there's any questions on what we actually do during the audit, please feel free to, just ask. So as Kelly had mentioned, our main objective is to issue an opinion on the district's financial statements as of 6/30/2025. So we are looking back a few months, but the district did get a clean opinion, as Kelly mentioned, which is the best opinion that you can receive, and it is on the modified cash basis of accounting. A few highlights. And this is all in the report, too. The pages are at the top if you'd like to look in the actual report. But just a couple highlights of the changes in the fund balances. So as of 6/30/2024, the district had $63.8 million in fund balance. During fiscal '25, fund balance increased $34.1 million. All funds ended the year with positive fund balances, and the general fund had $37.2 million fund balance as of June 30th, 2025. And we'll look at that a little bit in more detail. But I did want to point out that main increase is in the Fire Prevention and Safety Fund, the $30.4 million increase, and that was mainly due to the debt issued during the year. This page here highlights the general fund. So the general fund consists of 4 accounts, which is the educational account, O&M, working cash, and the tort fund. Educational account fund balance, which is the main operating fund of the district, had restricted fund balance, $245,000 of land that's considered inventory, $2.5 million of restricted money that's restricted for student activity funds, and then $28.1 million that is unassigned, meaning the district can spend how it wants. There's no restrictions to that fund balance. If we look a little deeper just at the educational account, revenues during the year were $131 million. That does include on-behalf payments from the state of $34.3 million. What that is the portion of TRS that the state pays on behalf of the district. That also shows up in expenditures as well, so that's really a wash to the fund balance. So that expenditure amount of $128 million also includes that $34 million of on-behalf payments. Fund balance of the educational account as of June 30th was $31 million, which was an increase of $3 million during the year. And if you compare the expenditures to the ending fund balance, there's about 3.94 months of fund balance. We typically recommend 4 to 6 months, so the district's right in that range of recommended fund balance. This next slide just is a look at long-term debt, which is important for the district. As of June 30th, 2025, there was $227 million of long-term debt outstanding. $6.5 million principal debt payments were made in fiscal '25, and $5.5 million are scheduled to be paid in fiscal '26. This next slide is the template, the ISB template that Kelly had mentioned. I won't go into too much detail about that. You'll just see the projected score at the bottom is a 3.35, which is the review status. And this is just some more information on that slide and the different levels of financial recognition, review, early warning, financial watch, and kind of just to look where the districts come from. In 2017, the district had a score of 2.35, which was a watch, climbed all the way up to 3.7 recognition status in last year, 24, and now is at the projected score of 3.35 for the reasons Kelly had mentioned earlier. The next thing I'll touch on is the single audit. So the single audit was needed due to the district expending federal funds in excess of $750,000. So the actual expended federal funds was $2.4 million. Of that $2.4 million, the special education cluster, which is the IDEA grants, accounted for $1.8 million. So we did a separate, which is called a single audit, just on those funds. This summary of auditors' results is included in the single audit, and it's a really good comprehensive list of all the kind of summary of our opinions and findings. So 1 through 4 has to do with the financial statements that I discussed earlier. What that says is clean opinion, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no instances of noncompliance. And then 5 through 8 have to do with the single audit, so that is just on the IDEA money. Again, that is clean opinion, no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no audit findings on those single audit federal funds. There's a couple other letters in your packet. Those are just general communications that we're required to give to the district. One of them does have the adjusting journal entries that we proposed throughout the audit. And then as Kelly went through the management letter with just the recommendations for improvement, the 3 that were listed. And that is all I had. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? I had a question about the deposit collateralization note. So we needed to transfer money into Old Second. Are you suggesting we break it up into different banks or just do it at a different time?
I think it would just be giving the financial institution a heads up that this money is coming. We're always going to look, I had told Michael and Kelly, we were always going to look at the collateralization as of June 30th, that point in time. So it was just a timing issue. This money went in before Old Second could raise the collateral.
Okay. So if we had done it like a week earlier, wouldn't have
It wouldn't have been, yeah.
Okay. And then in terms of the, oh, sorry, does someone have a question? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. In terms of the capital assets, I know we've talked about this before. Is there a threshold on what we'd be looking to put into the system, I guess? Or is it like everything, like chairs and?
No, it would depend on what the district's capitalization threshold is. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's probably
5,000? Okay. That's what ours is at.
As it relates to the status of review, your assessment is that next year that it'll rise because we've already made the purchase, because that's what caused that, or what will we need to do?
Yeah, it might stay at that amount for a year or two. I think there was 50% put down on the buses in fiscal '25. So then that next 50% would be in fiscal '26. But Michael, if you want to add to that.
And again,
I have a
as you see.
follow-up, since you're going to answer.
Sure.
And then, is there anything we can do to offset it, or are we just going to realize that for the next year as well?
I'm not aware of anything to offset it, but in terms of the financial practices, as you know, I think best practice to save the district money is why we're doing it. So I stand by that recommendation. And as we've talked about in the past and later on the agenda tonight is another round of bus bid and purchasing. So I would project that it goes for another year. We do not have purchasing needs in the following year. So it's going to depend on how the payment splits across fiscal years. And as Kelly mentioned earlier, the leasing piece where we were over budget in Fund 30
it's interesting because we budgeted for other leases in, say, our education fund, Fund 10, and that's required to transfer into Fund 30. So we budgeted in one fund and spent in another. So the cash was the same. That's not true for Fund 40. And so that's where the spending occurs and why that affects it. So I project it will go another year and then we won't have that spending need.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, and thanks to Michael and Kelly. They always do a great job with the audit, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, next up, we have the consent agenda, items E1 through E6. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? A motion, do we have a second?
Second.
A motion, a second. Any questions? Hearing none, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have under action items, the presentation of invoices for October 17th, 2025 through November 20th, 2025. I'd entertain a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $5,321,327.04 as presented.
So moved.
We have a-
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the invoices? Mike, did you want to add a couple comments for us?
Yeah, last month we talked about DLA and just trying to transparently outline the split between life safety and non-life safety costs. So the $107,000 that you see here tonight for DLA, $14,000 of that is from last summer's projects and just punch list items and following up as those projects wrap up. And just under $94,000 was from design work and engineering costs for the 26, 27 mechanical upgrades. And year to date, when we get to the treasurer's report, you can see Fund 90 as you scroll through my book detail. You can see Fund 90 expenses year to date are including this $866,000 for the year.
All right, any follow-up or questions on the invoices? All right, hearing none, can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Next up, we have the treasurer's report for October 2025.
Through October, revenues totaled $6.1 million. Expenses for the month were $9.9 million. The district's total cash balance on October 31st was $113.1 million. Through October 31st of '25, 40.0% of our budgeted operating revenue has been received, and 32.3% of budgeted operational spending has occurred. Through the same point last year, those comparison data are 40.7% in the revenues and 31.9% for revenue. So both operating revenues and expenses are trending appropriately, each of them within 1% of the same point last year. If you're tracking the feds and interest rates, in October, our liquid rates did decline a little bit. They're between 3.7 and 4.0%. We did make another short-term treasury investment to mature at the end of December for our cash flow needs as we make bond payments. Take any questions you might have.
Any questions for Dr. Dubek? I had one. I just got to pull it up here. Give me 1 second. Someone else can ask a question while I'm pulling up, though, if they want to.
I'll ask a question. Maybe this is a little late, but does the life safety, now that we've kind of anticipated those purchases happening now, starting this year and next year, is that going to negatively affect like kind of where the audit piece came in and how we had those purchases that increased? Does that impact that rating or that score?
Oh, in terms of expenditures, in terms of the
Right.
revenue to expenditure
Right.
ratio? No, because it's not an operating fund.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good question.
So it says it's still loading, so I'll try to do it off the top of my head. We had two funds of expenditures that were trending a little higher than expected. One was bus at like 40.2%, I believe, and the other one was capital and non-capital expenditures, 37.9%.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. Don't have it in front of me. 36.
So,
Yeah, can you just explain why we're trending a little bit higher in those? Is one for the deal with the buses, the
yep,
leasing?
one is the invoice that was paid.
Okay.
So we split the 5.8 million last year, or 5.6 million, excuse me, across last fiscal year and this fiscal year. Would recommend doing the same this year because I don't want to make that payment until they're on site, received, inspected, and drivable. So that was a pretty large capital expense this fall compared to this point last year. That's why the percent's trending high. And then in terms of the capital, that just has to do with our capital projects. But the buses are also considered capital outlay. So I'm not sure if you're looking at capital outlay generally speaking or the Fund 60 capital projects, but both are trending high just with the way all our projects and contractors invoices came in. Yep.
And then the Fund 90 that you put in there for life safety, revenue of 54,000, is that interest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? No, hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report for October 2025 as presented. We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the student activities report for October 2025.
Student activities report is in your backup material this evening. For month ended October 31st, the activity fund balance was $2,540,119 with revenues of $386,958 and expenditures of $520,515. There were 3 accounts in the negative: speech at Central, boys swim at Central, cheer at Central. All are back in the positive due to a timing here of the start of the season. And then we're asking for a new account, board approval for esports at Central. That's up and running. In fact, it's been going now a year or two. And we're just asking to start an account as they'll start competing, if they haven't already done so, through the IHSA and different organizations.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the student activities report for October 2025 as presented.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? Hearing none, can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up is the 2025 tentative tax levy. Mike, it looks like you're maybe getting a computer up and running. So I'll regale the audience with some stories while you, yeah, while you wait for that to get up and running.
There it is.
Yeah. It's not your banking PIN number, is it? Like, is the mentalist. Is the mentalist would have already had a guest. Yeah.
As typical, so I'll sort of speak ad lib while I'm pulling this up. So, as is typical in your packet materials tonight, the first attachment is a kind of a cover memo, and there are several hyperlinks in there. One of the things that I like to include is a tax levy FAQ, just for transparency purposes. You know I share that every year just to answer sort of in layperson's terms about how a tax levy works. There's also a document called Tax Levy Calculations, where you'll see, based on where we ended last year, a CPI, or rate of inflation that we're using of 2.9%, and I'm not going to be able to connect with that, but that's okay. So the final attachment is Tax Levy 2025. If you go to the final attachment in your packet materials, it's just called Tax Levy 2025, and I will just sort of walk through that slide deck right now with you. See if I can get up. Maybe I can do it back on mine now. I apologize. There we go. Okay. Now you can tell me how I did verbally while I was trying to multitask. So you have the cover memo, you have the FAQ. Local property taxes represent 70% of our operating revenue. And so tonight is the early stages of this levy process. We're not asking anything of you in terms of action tonight, with the exception of a determination resolution. And that is just to pass a resolution to say this is what we have evaluated and what we believe we will need from a levy standpoint. But the actual levy adoption happens in December and then is filed with the county. Will County and the small piece we have in Cook, the counties finalize those data in the early spring and send those out to districts. On this slide, you can see some historical trends. Not only do we look at a CPI of 2.9% because we use the one in arrears since 2025 is not over yet, but the other thing we look at is we look at property values throughout the community as well as new construction. So I'll actually start with the bottom table. The total EAV, which is the taxable value. So if you have a $300,000 home, the taxable value is 33% of that, so $100,000. And if you add all that up in the entire Lincoln Way boundaries, it is estimated this year to be about $6.6 billion. New construction, the top table, I mentioned this the last couple of years. We actually saw a little bit of a slowing down in terms of the new construction. We were up to 72, 75 million, and it dropped to 53 and 48 in these early estimates. And this year's estimate is at 76 million. So housing is picked back up, new construction is picked back up. I use these data to estimate where I think our revenues will come in. And so with these 4 data points right here, we start off with where we were last year at 88 million in property tax revenue. And like I said, we add that CPI, property values, and new construction. And I know this table is small. I do believe you can zoom in on it. But where I have us estimated is receiving $92.5 million through property taxes, operating property taxes this next year, which the green column, all I have done is take some of those monies and proportion them into different funds based on our need. So if we need more in the O&M fund or the transportation fund versus ed or Fund 50 or our tort fund, Fund 80. And so what the 92.5 million represents is a 4.57% increase. And what I always like to highlight is, again, that is not a 4.57% increase in property taxes across the board. For our existing taxpayers, that goes up just CPI, 2.9%. The rest of the way to get up to that 4.57 is from new property coming on the tax rolls for the first time. And so we levy higher to make sure that we capture that, because if we don't, that's disproportionately pushed back, that tax burden is pushed back onto existing taxpayers. So we always levy higher. And when the county finalizes their data, wherever property values and new construction come, whatever we are eligible to receive, that is all we receive. So we always levy higher, as you know. So again, 2.9% coming from existing taxpayers. The 4.57, I will tell you, for years where inflation is high, or for smaller districts where when they're building subdivisions, that new property takes them up over 5%, you have to have a public hearing in December. We have done that in past years when inflation has been high. That is not needed. I'm not recommending anything that would warrant that for this year. And then, as I like to share each November, just as a reminder, in terms of where Lincoln Way compares to our surrounding districts in terms of operating taxes, we are the lowest. We have a 1.58 tax rate last year compared to Lockport at 1.78 and others, as you know. And then how do we turn around and then spend our money? I think Lincoln Way does a great job, and we find a lot of success for our students academically, athletically, and otherwise. And we do more with less. And so compared to some of these other districts, we spend $18,540 in fiscal year '24 operating expenses per pupil. And you can see sort of where we stack up against surrounding districts. We are often at or very near the bottom of this list. So once again, spending very efficiently. It's kind of all I have at a high level. I would happily take any questions that you may have. I can throw the calculations back up if anyone wants to ask anything.
Any questions for Dr. Dubek? Where do you get your numbers from?
Where do I get new construction numbers, EAV, all of that? Yep, from the county. From county offices, I work with the assessor's office and with the treasurer's office, and they publish preliminary data in September. And then what I try to do is reach out back to them, and they publish an interim report updated in November. They're tentative, since all of the data aren't finalized, obviously, until... That's correct. Yep.
Numbers are very predictable when you're talking about tax levies and taxes. They're always predictable. Within certain dollar amounts, we are fairly certain what the EAV is. We are fairly certain what the consumer price index, which is the max levy. Any other questions from Dr. Dubek?
No other questions for Dr. Dubek? All right. Since there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2025 tentative tax levy as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the approval of the agreement between Learnwell and Lincoln Way 210.
So this would be an agreement between Lincoln Way and Learnwell, which would provide tutoring for any of our students that are hospitalized throughout the year. Particulars are included in the contract in terms of how many hours per day, what that cost per hour will be. We believe this is a competitive rate. As we do have students who are hospitalized from time to time, this would provide ongoing academic resources for those students during that hospitalization.
Any questions on the agreement?
And maybe it's somewhere and I just haven't seen it, but what's the recommended time that students are given if they're hospitalized?
So that's a really good question. This would pretty much do 2 to 3 hours of instruction a day, but then we would pay for an additional 30% for the prep time.
Okay.
But that will be, determined kind of case by case on
Sure.
what the student can handle.
What they can
But-
tolerate,
but but typically this would be a 2 to 3 hours of instruction, and then a couple times a week.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Do we currently have an agreement in place?
I don't know that we have an agreement. We've used different agencies. Katie, you've looked into this one. Any particular reason you think we should go this direction as we move forward? Go ahead, come on up here.
Hi, everybody. So each hospital uses a different company. So this is probably going to be the first of a few contracts. The reason that we're moving in this direction is because our council has advised that any tutors that provide services to our students that we are paying for, that they're vetted by the FACE law that the state of Illinois is requiring. So this just gives our district a little bit more, I guess, security in who's working with our students and who we are paying to work with our students. So there'll be a couple different companies that I'm starting to work with because we have students that are hospitalized all over Will County, some in Wisconsin, some in, Cook County, so.
All right, thank you.
If a student's hospitalized and then gets released but has to stay at home, does that tutor stay with them?
No, then
So they'll have to
the
switch.
school would provide tutoring. So the school will provide the work to the tutor, and the hospital provides the tutor because generally the school can't provide virtual tutoring, and the school is not always able to go into the hospital setting. So if the student is released from the hospital and is still at home, then the school will step in and provide the tutoring.
But it can't be the same one, the same tutor, just for
No,
continuity.
no, probably not, because then they're not able to go into the student's home and provide that tutoring, if that makes sense.
All right, if there are no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement between Learnwell and Lincoln Way Community High School District 210 as presented. We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, we have the athletic apparel bid.
Included in your backup materials was an athletic apparel bid. Our contract with BSN and Nike had concluded back June 30th. We continued to go with Nike. We've recently gone to public bid. We received bids from BSN with Under Armour. We received a bid from Rydell. And we would ask the board to approve the bid response from BSN and move to Under Armour. So specifically, what I would ask is the board to approve the bid results for athletic apparel and authorize the administration to execute a contract with BSN and Under Armour based upon the terms of the bid. So we would go in then and perform the contract, and that would be a 3.5-year agreement then with Under Armour and BSN.
Any questions for Dr. Tingley?
Yep, just one.
Yep.
So this is in terms of uniforms and more sports-related equipment?
Correct.
Or is this for all?
No, this would
spirit
be more cloth-related. So they would give us 3 years for all varsity teams to transition over to an Under Armour. The different intricacies of this deal, we would be able to do the team shops as we've seen before, but this would give us the ability, like Lincoln Way Central could have a team shop through the athletic department open all year. We wouldn't have to do it 2 weeks at a time and then close it down. So, a parent wants to buy an Under Armour sweatshirt with the Knights logo or the Lincoln Way C on it or whatever, they would be able just to do that. But primarily, this is an athletic cloth deal. We'll have the opportunity to purchase shoes at a discount of 35% off the catalog price for our student athletes. And then other athletic apparel, whether it be gloves, sweatshirts, hoodies, those different types of items.
So will all sports teams and activities that have uniforms get transitioned over to?
Right, so not all activities. So like dance and cheer have their specific companies, and as a dance dad, I should know that, but I know they don't wear Under Armour. And I know they
That's
don't
where
wear
I was
Nike.
asking.
No. So those activity-specific or sport-specific to those will not fall into this category. So it's as they provide. Under Armour does not have a catalog for cheerleading or dance uniforms, so that would not be part of it. This would primarily be your softball, basketball, baseball, football, lacrosse, volleyball, wrestling, and the discounts they're providing and the incentives that they provided, we haven't seen before in a proposal like this, and Nike chose not to bid this time around. And BSN would have carried the bid for Nike as well, as they did last time. But yeah, specific to your question, no, it will not be for all activities in sports. It'll be where they're able to fit us.
So if they wanted to purchase new uniforms, there wouldn't be any type of agreement or discount. It would be whatever the purchase or whatever. Does everything go through BSN now, I guess is my question, because I know we used to use Action Sports.
And it did before as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I know dance and cheer did not always go through
Did
the
not,
same.
no. We have athletic apparel, we've been with BSN now for, I believe, 12 years exclusively. Prior to that, East was, Central was mostly, and West did some of a couple different companies. Because of the volume discount, that's what attracted Under Armour to our account, because of the large volume. We are very fortunate in that all of our sports teams' rosters are pretty much full, and they're able to see that, purchasing power, so to speak.
Yeah, I just think it would be nice if there's one Spirit location where all those, whether it's, like you were saying, hoodie sweatshirts, any team-related apparel that might not be uniform-specific, all goes through one location, because I think having multiple locations isn't great for parents, because they don't know where to go to get the information, or where
And that-
they can find things, or it's not discounted here because you're on this team or club.
That was exactly right, Dan, and that was one of the challenges with our prior agreement is those team stores could only be open for so long and
Correct.
then they had to close. And this, Under Armour will allow us, they've said, on your store, you can put cheerleading dad, you can put
Okay.
whatever, and leave it up
So
there.
it can customize
You
to
can-
any activity.
You can customize it to the activity, click on the sweatshirt, it can stay there.
Great.
And so for ease of use, hopefully that will help. We'll see how this goes. You know, there'll be outs for either side. It'll be something that's new, but this is a market that Under Armour wants to get back into the high school game. They're pursuing this very aggressively, and they've, you know, I think it should be a good relationship.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think it's the equity piece, right? Making sure that everybody has an
Has the same
opportunity to
opportunities.
purchase
Correct.
those things at any point. Perfect, thank you.
Any response from Nike on why they did not?
No,
submit it?
we've been doing this 12 years. I don't have a Nike contact. And that's the other interesting piece of this is that, you know, it's been no secret, we've had challenges getting uniforms on time, particularly the last 3 years. And it's not only us, it's colleges and universities also. Nike's the biggest player. They're not real concerned about Lincoln Way Central or Lincoln Way West, you know, us not getting our orange pants on time. So we'll see if this provides a, you know, little better experience. We'll see.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the athletic apparel bid as presented and direct the administration to execute a contract.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. This vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
Next up, we have the school bus bid.
Okay, so as I talk about this, action item number 7 is the bus bid, and then 8 is the resolution for a financing to own model, another debt certificate. Once again, that's an operating certificate, so not a tax levied thing. It's repaid out of operating funds. So as I mentioned last month, we have 32 buses that are ending a 5-year lease, and so we went out to bid. And the move to gasoline buses last year has proven very successful. We're happy with those. No vehicle's perfect, and some of the specs are different. You know, we like some things about them. You don't love everything. Maybe the layout's different, but overall, in terms of reliability, we've been happy with them. So we requested bids for 28 yellow school buses. We believed, as I mentioned last month, we could reduce the fleet by the 4 buses and then use those funds to go purchase 3 white activity buses as well. We received bids from 3 vendors, and the tabulation is in your packet materials tonight. And based on those figures, we recommend kind of a mixed award here. So we recommend purchasing again. Leasing was cost prohibitive. We did bid to purchase and to lease. We wanted to see what the financing would look like either way. We thought that was fair, that was a best practice. So the lowest annual leasing payment was almost $27,000 per year per bus, which is well more than double where it was even just 7 or 8 years ago. And then after 5 years, the district does not maintain any asset. It's not a lease to own or anything like that. So by purchasing and financing over 7 years, not only do we own them and we capture the resale value. The other thing I want to do, recommend this year is bids came in as expected and within budget, but we recommend one vendor, Central States again, as they won the bid last year for the yellow buses, and then Midwest Transit to purchase the white activity buses. They were lowest in each of those categories, so it's recommending the lowest bids. But also what I like about it is it allows us to maintain a working relationship with both vendors. I do know that Midwest Transit has some vehicle specs coming out in the next couple of years, and we want to maintain a positive relationship with them for the future. And I just want to say once again, like annual lease payments, these payments are made from within the operating budget. And so that requires no additional taxpayer funds to approve the debt certificate. So I put the financing to own attachment in both this agenda item as well as the resolution. And what that debt certificate would provide would be, we would pay upfront cash of $310,000, and it would provide for $4.5 million in proceeds. And what that would cover is the purchase of the 28 buses, as well as the three activity buses. The combined fiscal year payments in the orange column on the far right, if you have that document open, what our effort with PMA has been to do is to take last year's financing and this year's and sort of make sure that the fiscal year payments remain sort of as steady as possible. That's both for our budget benefit, but then also as we work with billing back to our feeder districts for their share of transportation operations. And then last, just as a comparison note, after the financing payback is complete, so once again, we've had the buses now for 7 years in this scenario, the annual cost per bus will have been less than that leasing price by a significant amount. So it would be $18,000 per bus per year after 7 years. And that doesn't even, so that's 33% less. That's a significant savings. That's $250,000 a year. And that doesn't even account for the fact that in years 6 and 7, we'd probably be going back out to lease in the other scenario, and they'd be even higher. So it's not a small amount of money that we're saving by doing this. Other than that, the model's very similar to what we've done before. Happy to take any questions you might have.
All right, any questions for Dr. Dubek?
I know we went through this last year, but what are we anticipating? How many years will we have these after that? Didn't we say it was like up to 5? Like that we won't, that because we own them, we're not, it's not like we're going to trade them in and buy new ones. How many years do we think we'll have them without payment?
We are going to try and take care of them and get to 10. That's right.
Yeah, so.
Yep, so an extra
3
5
years.
Yeah,
Three
yes,
and-
after
three
the
and-
7, yeah, yep. I think Mr. Reeser would like to go longer if possible, but I won't overcommit us. But again, and again, I have other CSBOs and other districts that I've networked closely with about buses and financing, and several of them are buying 6-7-year-old buses right now for $65,000 to $70,000.
Did you do that on purpose?
What did I say? I did not do a 6-7 on purpose.
Sorry, I got a couple young teenagers at home.
If my son's watching the board meeting, he'll like that. So.
Yeah. If your son's watching a board meeting, taking notes, taking
that's
after
right.
you.
That's right. So,
when you say if we were to sell these, where would we sell them at? I mean, it's not like we just put a sign up as they're driving around the district, say bus for sale. I mean, is there like a co-op or something?
Sure. Several of the
I guess maybe a Bears fan might buy it and turn it into a Bears tailgate.
They could. Several of the companies that we're buying or leasing buses from also buy used buses, right? And then resell them. Your Safeways, your Midwest Transits. I also know that sometimes school districts like to buy used buses directly. And that's not unheard of either for a district to sell them to another district. So there are plenty of buyers out for used buses. Yep.
So I just want to make sure we're not, we're going to sell all these buses, and now we got like 40 buses sitting there and no one wants them.
That's a good question. Yep. Nope. There are plenty of buyers.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the school bus bid as presented and direct administration to execute the contracts.
Second.
A motion and a second. You please open the vote.
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right. Next up, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing and providing for the issue of not to exceed $4,850,000 debt certificates for the purpose of purchasing school buses in a finance-to-own model in lieu of traditional leasing, authorizing an installment purchase agreement, and authorizing the sale of said certificates to the purchaser thereof as presented. Next time, we got to get that a little shorter.
Second.
A a motion and a second. Assuming there's no questions, so can you please open the vote?
Voting is open. The vote is unanimous. Motion passes.
All right, next up, under informational items, we have the report of the Lincoln Way Special Education District 843 Governing Board meeting held October 28th, 2025.
Thank you. We've actually had two meetings. We had our November meeting on Monday, so I'll provide the most recent just as a timing thing. The fencing around the playground is finally complete. So there was a section that was still missing. That was a gate that was supposed to be installed. It's finally complete, so that area is completely secure and safe for students to continue to use. They're in the process of doing some winter activities. There's plenty of things on the agenda for parents to attend. They've had some great involvement from all of the districts that are participating with students in the co-op that are coming out to those. So thank you to all the parents who are making those experiences fun for the kids and for the staff. I think there wasn't much more. Staffing is up to speed. They're still continuing to look for substitute drivers and monitors as needed to have people on deck in case there's individuals that aren't able to drive for any period of time. But they have just hired 2 subs, and everything is going well training-wise. And the staff have received additional academic training through Illinois State University that's been ongoing, and all the districts are invited to participate. So any staff members that want to come for those trainings can share in that through the cooperative or on their Institute Day when they offer it. So good things happening.
Thank you. Next up, we have FOIA requests.
For is in your backup information, I can answer any questions that you might have, as well as the buildings and grounds.
And we have the community relations report.
That's in every other month, so we'll have that on
Sure.
there next month.
District 210 advisory.
Yeah, we met earlier this month. We've been tasked to look at summer school and what that would look like and all the changes. We met in each of our individual groups, parents and students and faculty administrators. We took a look at recommendations that each group made, had conversations, came back at the end. And I just took some notes on what each student was kind of concerned about. It was kind of interesting because the students talked about fairness and integrity of what it would look like. Because we're obviously probably leaning towards an online format of some sort between credit recovery and advancement and enrichment. So students talked about fairness and integrity. Parents were talking about quality. And teachers were obviously concerned about both integrity and quality, and that administrators were talking about all of it and concerned about all of it. So I'm really confident they're going to have some great recommendations moving forward. So more to come. Yeah.
Thank you. First reading of policies.
First reading of policies are in backup materials. Nothing groundbreaking there. We'll bring those back next month for approval. If you have any questions between now and then, please get back to me.
First reading of the 26-27 school calendar.
Also, the school calendar, a draft, says it right there on there. It's a draft. It's in there for your approval. What we would look to do next year would be start the year with 2 institute days. We anticipate some summer construction every day that we might need for students would help. And that's something that teachers have asked for in the past. So we took the October institute, moved it into August. So go institute first days. The remainder of the days are in place. Our student testing is in there. The student improvement days are in there. Winter break would be the solid 2 weeks, which both ourselves and the feeders have agreed to do. The solid 2 weeks gets 3 weekends, which parents like. For some of you may remember, we used to split it up years ago, and then it was, you're leaving on a Wednesday, you're coming back on a Wednesday. So the 2 weeks is nice. This year, spring break would be the week, Easter would be the first weekend, and so that kind of fits nicely, and I think all the schools in the area will kind of follow this movement because Easter is very early next year. And then final exams and out of the building the Friday before Memorial Day as proposed, knock on wood. And, as Rich said, Rich took away the snow days from everybody so we can we can be done. So I will, now that I've shared it with the board, I'll share this with the feeders, we'll share this with the union leaderships, and then I would anticipate coming back in December, January at the latest to go ahead and approve the calendar. But if you have any questions or thoughts between now and then, feel free to reach out.
LWEA looked at it?
Yes, they received a copy, and so their meeting, I want to say it's the first week of December, so they'll bring it to their groups. Mhm.
And then we have the quarterly insurance report.
Once again, just in your backup materials, Mike has, from time to time, kind of kept you up to speed on where we're at. Hadn't been a great year. We're within budget. We're right around there, maybe a little over, maybe a little under as we finish. Mike, anything to add to our quarterly insurance report right now?
No, I think what we're watching is just where we're going to end the calendar year with a stop loss as that kicks in. So that'll kind of depend on how we kick off the new calendar year, and then we'll see as we keep going through the fiscal year.
Legislative report,
Nothing new to add at this time.
and anything from the superintendent?
Nothing additional.
Any other district business?
None at this time.
Any correspondence?
We do not.
All right. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees and/or collective negotiating.
And student-related matters.
And student-related matters, thank you.
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No action after?
None.
All right. With that, we are in closed session. Happy Thanksgiving.